Welcome back to the shop. Tonight we got a special video on refinishing and reupholstering a couple of footstools that Mama and I found. Really simple job. It's not that difficult.
No, it's simple.
We're going to show you some tips and some tricks on what you need to do if you ever need to reupholster something. We suggest you start with something simple, kind of like these footstools, and then move up to bigger things. But right now, we're going to get started with the video. Now, this is going to be a slideshow video. Well, get yourself a glass of tea, get yourself a cup of coffee, and kind of hang out with us while we go through this video. Alrighty, so this is a couple of the stools that we found at the auction, and as you can see, this one, I would call it worn and dated, wouldn't you, Loretta?
Yes, it's very worn and dated.
And it's not really the prettiest upholstery job. But anyhow, we found several stools up there. Do you remember how many we got?
I think we got around 4 of them.
Yeah, so we got 4 or 5 stools from the auction up here, Sunset Auction, and we paid, I think, $5 or $10 for it. And then this is the second one, and those little, I don't know, what would you call them, that brass string hanging down there?
Right, those are brass tacks, and what it is it's a long string of them, and like every 5th one has a hole, so that's where you actually put a tack all the way through that tacks it to the chair.
Okay, alrighty, so it's not just one long string of tacks where you got to take out a bunch of tacks.
Right, it's just like every 5th one has a tack.
Okay, and here I'm kind of showing you where the screws are that actually hold the cushion down to the, I guess you'd call it the legs or the body of the stool. And there's 4 in this particular one, and we actually kind of rotated the chair so it looks like I'm pointing at the same one, or rotated the stool. But you just take those screws out, and that's a pretty easy job. I mean, how difficult is that to do? Right?
It wasn't very hard at all. I could do it by myself if I needed to.
Yeah, and I think really probably the biggest thing, and you'll see it here coming up, is that you want a kind of a long shank screwdriver on that, because it gets down there a little bit better than maybe a shorter stubby one.
Right, you get a better angle. Yeah,
and it kind of just makes the screws a little bit easier to come out. So really not that difficult of a job to actually remove it, whether it's that long thing of looks like nails in there, which really isn't nails, just a couple of tacks here and there, or just to remove the screws here out of the bottom. So pretty easy job, wouldn't you say?
Yep, very easy.
Alrighty. Alrighty, now coming up is what the stool looks like without the upholstery or anything on it, and that's kind of just a blank look. And then now is Mama removing, I would call that a tack strip, wouldn't you call that?
Right, that's a tack strip, and I'm almost at the end of it. I kept the squares in the corners just to make sure that it went back on correctly.
Yeah, and that's not all tacks, that's false tacks with a few tacks here and there, right?
Right.
Okay, and then this is that stool without the upholstery on it. And coming up is a little tip I like, which is take a magnet and hook all your little nails, your screws to that magnet, and then drop that magnet in a sandwich baggie, and then take and get you some of that stretch wrap, and that's what I'm showing you here. It's stretch wrap it to the leg or to the part you're working on. Now, how would you say that works when we do that, right?
Oh, I love that, because it keeps everything together with the particular item you're working on, and then when you're ready to put the screws, nuts, and bolts in, they're right there hanging on the leg for you.
And no sticky tape mess.
Nope.
Alrighty, now with those tips out of the way, now let's take a look at this. And what are you doing here, Red?
I'm taking a putty knife and I'm prying up in the center of these staples. The staples are pretty tough and they're so close together, it takes a putty knife to actually get up underneath of them.
But it's a doable job.
Yes, it is.
Alright, and sometimes the putty knife fails you and you have to change tactics, and what I'm doing here is I've got a nail and I'm actually going in the dead center of that staple and kind of driving the nail in to raise the center of that up so we can get the putty knife in there. How did that work, Red, when we did that?
Oh, that was a great idea, because the putty knife, actually you could get the corner of the putty knife and pry back and forth and it would pop them right out.
Yeah, and the thing is sometimes you have to experiment with this. You want to kind of be parallel with the wood, so you're not driving down into the wood, but parallel to the wood and lifting up on that nail and being real careful not to mar up your wood. But if you do, it's not really a big deal. It's something you can fix, isn't it?
Yeah, you can sand it out, and then when you put the paint on it, you can hardly tell.
Alrighty, so here we've already raised up the staple after we used the nail, and we've got the putty knife. And what are you doing here, Red?
I'm using a pair of needle nose pliers to actually pull it the rest of the way out. Sometimes they get hung up and the putty knife doesn't pull them.
Alrighty, so you got the staples out now, and you just snatch off the old upholstery and put on some new, and you're ready to go, right?
Oh, no. First you've got to make sure that the cushion is in good shape. Make sure there's no holes or torn in it, and then you have to clean it and make sure that it's clean and ready to go, or you just replace it if it's damaged.
Alrighty, and does that happen often?
Not too often. Most of them are in pretty good shape.
Alright, so we got the old upholstery off, picked out our new, and we just grind this piece of wood down to just bare wood, right? With a big thick piece of sandpaper?
Oh no, you want to use a smoother sandpaper than that, because if you use rougher sandpaper, it's going to leave scratches in it and it'll show through the finish. What you want to do is use a 220. You want to make sure you rough up the surface enough for the paint to stick, and then you want to make sure you clean it real well before you put your paint on.
Okay, so we've roughed it up a little bit with some 220 sandpaper, cleaned it off. Now we just grab a can of spray paint and we just go to town and put it on nice and thick, right?
No, you don't want to do it that way. You want to make sure that your cushion is covered. You want to tape off all your areas you do not want overspray on, and then you want to use thin coats when you're spraying on the paint and letting them dry in between coats. Otherwise, it will bubble and it will run. So you want to make sure you do use thin coats.
Alrighty, so now you're spray painting here, and you can do this anywhere. I mean, if it's raining, you could do this in the closet, couldn't you?
Oh no, you don't want to do it in the closet. You want a well ventilated area, because you don't want to be those paint fumes. They'll give you a bad headache. But doing it preferably outside or in a paint booth would be best.
And if you're outside, I say here, you don't really have to worry too much about a respirator or a mask as long as the wind's blowing it away from you. Is that right?
Well, you should still wear a mask no matter what.
Alrighty, so you're spray painting here, and the idea is to put on thin coats just as fast as you can. You just spray, 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 right?
Oh no, you still don't want to do it that way. You still want to do thin coats. You want to make sure that the coats are dry in between before you do another coat. Otherwise, you will get the bubbling or you will get runs, and they look really bad on your furniture. So what you want to do is you see here, I'm letting the coats dry, and I put on several coats.
Okay, so now you're done spray painting, so what do you do next?
Well, next you want to pick out your material. You want to make sure that you lay your material over the item that you're putting it on, so that you can get the look that you want. As you see in this next picture, once I get the material laid over the top of the stool, it gives me a nice look because I've put the flowers pointing to all four corners.
So you really can't just then throw the material on there. There is actually a right and wrong way to put it on there?
There is, because you want it to have a pretty look to it. And that center piece, that center circle is your center, and then the four clovers point towards the four corners. So it gives you a really nice
kind of symmetrical look to it. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
yeah, symmetrical look.
Yeah, I can see the difference between the first pictures in this segment and the second. So it really does add to the look, just taking that extra moment and seeing how to lay out your material.
Yes, it does.
All right, so you've picked out your material. You've made sure it's laid on there where it's symmetrical. So what's our next step?
The next step is to actually pull the material over on one side, roll over the edge so that it has a nice, clean, straight to it. You want to work from the center of the material to the corners. You want to leave all four corners open. That will be the last thing that you staple down. You want to do one side, and then you want to do the opposite side. That way you get it nice and tight on both those sides. Then you work yourself around.
Keeping them wrinkles out.
Keeping them wrinkles out. Very good.
Okay, so we bought our candidate stools there. We brought them home. We've removed we're taking them apart. We've removed the old upholstery. We've sanded it with 220, and we painted it in thin coats and let it dry between coats. And we put the new upholstery on, making sure it was centered and looks good and symmetrical. And now we're back to putting the chair back, or excuse me, the stool back together. And as you can see here, I'm pointing to or Loretta's actually pointing to the screws here. And it's important to remember when you're putting these screws in not to get the material caught up and bound up in there. Anything else we need to think about while we're doing that, Ray?
Well, it's not just the material bound up. It's making sure that when you put the staples in the material, you do not staple over any screw holes, because it'll mess up your screw going in the chair and make your chair wobbly.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So you need a little forethought when you're putting that material on, and make sure just to know where the screws are actually going to go into the bottom of the cushion, and make sure you don't staple over the top of that. Kind of an important little tip right there at the end of the job to make sure it looks good. Okay, so we're all finished on the rehab on these stools, but let's look back and see what we started with. Now, we started with a couple of stools worth a couple of dollars that we picked up at an auction.
It looked like they needed to be thrown in the trash.
Yeah, they really weren't that great looking. Just kind of take a peek at them back and remember what they looked like to begin with. But I think this is an important point here is don't look at the color of the item, whether it's a stool or chair, a piece of furniture, or the material even. You kind of want to look at the form of it. Find something you like the form of.
or the bones. It has to have good bones. It needs to be sturdy. It needs to be something that's appealing furniture-wise to you, because the color and the upholstery can be changed to anything.
That's really true, and I think this really illustrates that. And really, we spent a couple of dollars on this and very little in paint, and material wasn't a big deal. And the finished project really, I think, looks good. And if you just kind of look at this, the dents and the dings in it, and then take a look at what we have here at the end, I really think it kind of speaks for itself, don't you?
I do believe it does, and it did turn out really well. Very pretty, very elegant.
We hope that you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you picked up on a couple of tips and tricks that'll help you in case you decide to do some refinishing and reupholstering of furniture on your own. Just remember these couple of basic things. Start small, don't take on a big project initially, and you want to make sure that you clean your project well. Do a little light sanding, then clean again and get that little bit of dust off there. And then you want to make sure, what do you do with your paint when you put it on?
You want to make sure you use light coats, let the paint dry, be in between coats, and make sure the paint is completely dry before you try putting the material on.
That's it. And if you stick to these couple little principles, you'll be able to reupholster and refinish furniture yourself. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching the video, and remember, we'd love to see you back in the shop. Welcome back to the shop. Tonight we got a special video for you. It's about a restoration, and there was this big bird that turned into a dinosaur. And I have no idea what I'm talking about. We did
Reupholstering and refinishing. That's what we got to do.
reupholster and refinish.
Reupholster and refinish. Welcome back to the shop. Okay.
Welcome back to the shop. Tonight we got a special video for you on
refinishing, reupholstering. You sure you don't want me?